During this tour, both the Grade 2 staff officer and myself were detailed by our G1 to assist and organise a visit to the military hospital of Rudolf Hess, who was the incumbent of Spandau prison. This entailed an armed escort provided by one of the resident battalions, an ambulance, and the utmost secrecy. We managed to get Hess to the hospital without any sort of incident, and during the time that Stephen Gilbert, the Grade 2 staff officer, and myself were waiting in the corridor, along came Hess, who was all of about 2 feet from us. We both looked him straight in the eye, and there was no sort of recognition whatsoever. I subsequently heard, and this caused quite a surprise amongst the residents of Berlin, that the medical officer from the British Army, who had been looking after Hess when he was in hospital, realised that despite it being well recorded that Hess had been wounded during the First World War, there was no evidence on the man's body that such a gunshot wound had occurred. This particular major, who, if I remember correctly, was Welsh, he subsequently wrote a book, which I'm sure is available on Amazon, detailing his finding, and you can imagine that this caused, as I've said before, quite some surprise amongst us residents in Berlin.